Hello again and welcome to the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta, aka Hampton Mike, along with my partner Brian the Ranger Retard. Give you another NFL special you just can't get enough of. Today, we go down to the, well, I shouldn't say go down, we play in the NFC East and we talk about the rival in the Philadelphia area. We're going to talk about those Dallas Cowboys. How about those Cowboys?
How about them?
Anyway, Brian, I'd tell you to stat me, but why don't you stat yourself?
It's not very nice.
No. Whatever.
Dallas Cowboys. Hey, last year, it sucked. 4-12, last place in the NFC East, and did not make the playoffs. Offensively, 9th on the ground, 27th through the air. I wonder why. Somebody got hurt. Defensively, piss poor, 22nd against the run, but a surprising 5th against the pass. In the first round, they decided to go with Ezekiel Elliott, running back out of Ohio State with the 4th overall pick. They also added running back Alfred Morris from the rival Redskins and said bye-bye to Greg Hardy, whose on-the-field performance did not give the Cowboys a reason to keep him off for his off-the-field issues.
And he's a little bit of a nut job.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Injuries to major players obviously torpedoed the Cowboys last year. Both Tony Romo and Des Bryant missed significant time. And listen, the team's not good enough to recover from when you're missing guys like that. It is what it is.
Yep.
As I mentioned in the open, the defense ranking 5th against the pass. You wouldn't know it by the way that team plays. They only had 11 takeaways all year. I feel that the low passing statistics obviously can be blamed entirely on the loss of Tony Romo and Des Bryant. They had a carousel of absolutely horrific quarterbacks that played in Romo's absence, and it just didn't materialize to anything. It was assumed that the Cowboys would go defense in the draft, given the high pick, and there were a lot of guys they were rumored to take, possibly Joey Bosa, possibly Jalen Ramsey. They went in the complete opposite direction. They took Ezekiel Elliott, the running back, and they had no interest in looking at their long-term defensive issues, which have been there for many, many years. The Cowboys continue to boast the best offensive line in football. With Romo's age and the health in question, last year I felt like the biggest thing you took from last year is really how bad the team is without Tony Romo. I really think the time is ticking on this team. If they have any chance to win with Romo, it better happen pretty soon because Father Time is catching up in a big way.
And I'm going to come after you with 2 questions right away. One,
hit me with it. Let's go.
I might hit you.
Let's go.
Tony Romo, we'll talk to running back situation.
Yes.
Running back situation, you brought in Alfred Morris. You still have Darren McFadden, although Darren McFadden hasn't been healthy for any years. He's always hurt. You brought in Alfred Morris, and then at the number 4 pick, your defense is as poor as it's been in the last couple of years. You go running back again. Although Ezekiel Elliott is a good running back, and maybe they thought that weren't going to be able to get him at that spot, but why do you go running back when you already have Alfred Morris and you have Darren McFadden?
Love the player, hate the pick. I said it when they made it. You're 150% right. Darren McFadden, who has been just an absolute bust in the NFL since he was drafted, played admirably well in Dallas last year. He had a 1,000-yard season in half a season. Clearly, that was not the Cowboys' biggest need. Why Jerry Jones felt it necessary to take a pick that you had to go through a year of hell to get with a guy like Jalen Ramsey staring you in the face to address your quarterback situation, and you take Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, listen, he didn't get Manziel when he wanted to, so I guess he makes his pick here. It was not a need. It's very much a luxury pick. I mean, he's going to play well. I expect him to play really, really well. I mean, there's talk of him being number 1 in some fantasy drafts as a rookie because they think he's going to play so well. You can't convince me that was where you had to go with that pick.
You talk about Claiborne for a while not working out in Dallas, but then again, like you said, Ramsey was there, and the other pick I have is Romo. You said he's aging, and believe it or not, they did address the need, but is Dak Prescott the guy to take over? I mean, he wasn't drafted high. He wasn't coming out of college as a stud quarterback. What do you think of Dak Prescott?
I like him. I agree with you that I think the odds of him becoming the eventual starter are slim at best. I do think he's kind of a similar player to Romo, though, and the ability to move around. I think that at points in this draft, they wanted to go with a different quarterback, but got sniped a couple of times, and Prescott fell in their laps. Really, where they could have taken a quarterback. The story is they tried to move up from the early 2nd to the late 1st to go get Paxton Lynch. Now, that would have been fantastic. I think that the way they view the draft is they got La'el Collins for nothing as a gift. So maybe they were able to take some luxury picks with a guy like Elliott, and probably somebody you're going to mention too is Jalen Smith. I'm not going to play this year linebacker out of Notre Dame.
We're not.
He's probably not going to play well.
No. But then you talk about the wide receiving core that they have, Bryant, Williams, and Beasley. I mean, I think they're good to adequate wide receiver core. The whole issue is if Romo can stay up. And I think Romo will stay up this year, although he's one hit away from a career, but I think he'll stay up. Now let's talk about the defense with the linebackers and the cornerbacks that they have. Again, this defense is kind of on the edge of teetering. You have Carr there, you have Sean Lee who can't stay healthy. I mean, McLean, what's going on with this defense?
Well, between the guys that can't stay healthy and the guys that can't keep their nose clean, I mean, hey, that's where you are. I was somebody who was a fan of the Randy Gregory pick, and I understand that he's going to be a problem this year. He might miss like 10 games, but he can't teach talent. The defense is not good. Sean Lee is a guy who I love, but you're right, he just cannot stay on the field. And the problem that you're going to have is, again, you have two of your primary pass rushers that are going to miss time due to suspension, and you have your linebackers can't stay healthy, and really probably their most athletic player in the secondary is Byron Jones coming into his second season, but the secondary actually played okay, all things considered, last year. The only thing you can hang your hat on here is that they are in a weak division offensively. In that probably the best passing attack they have to play against is Eli Manning twice a year and Odell Beckham, and not a lot of studs at the running back position. So for 6 games, it'll be okay. This defense, you can take this defense to Green Bay, take this defense out to Seattle, you're going to run into problems, and they really did nothing to address it, and that's the problem. And
looking at the schedule, Brian, the schedule people made them no easy schedule. I mean, you got games that are back and forth, and then they go on a stretch of 2 away, 2 home, 2 away. Where is Dallas in this stretch really going to make up some ground and really put some wins on the board?
I think they have to win 3 out of 4 games early on. And I say that because you're hosting the Giants in the game that's always wild every year. They seem to play each other every year.
And it's in Dallas.
So and it's in Dallas, yeah. You go to Washington, you host the Bears, and you go to San Francisco. After that, you're hosting the Bengals and going to Green Bay. And those are 2 games that I don't think you're going to be able to win. After the bye, it gets a little bit easier, but then, the stretch that's going to make or break the Cowboys this season is Week 10 through, I'll give you this too, through Week 15. It was probably Week 14, but I'll give you Week 15.
Is a loss.
I'll give you Week 15. They go to Pittsburgh, tough game. They host Baltimore, tough game. Return match with the Redskins, divisional game, tough game. They go to Minnesota, tough game. At the Giants, tough game. And hosting Tampa, listen, I mean, we're going to razz on Mike because we love Mike, but that's not a game that you could just put as a win. By then, Jameis Winston's got more time under his belt, but they could be contending for a spot. So you can't write them off as wins either. That's the stretch, I think, that because of that stretch of games, they really better go 3-1 early on and win the games that they have to win against really probably a bad Eagles team and a bad Browns team. They got to get those wins. But having said that,
what's your prediction?
So I think that the Cowboys offense, and again, everything's got that asterisk. If Romo is healthy, nothing else matters than that for this Dallas Cowboys team. If Romo is healthy, the Cowboys offense unit is the best unit in the division. I don't even think it's that close. So that they're going to have to rely on that to take them as far as they're going to go to. I absolutely can see them winning the division. I just don't think that's going to matter because I think that once they get out of the division, you got to figure they'll be the 3 or the 4 seed, and they'll probably end up playing a team like Seattle, maybe even Arizona, or a team like Minnesota or Green Bay. The teams that finish second place in those divisions, I can't see Dallas winning that game at home. So, it's just, I think it's going to be a better season if Romo stays healthy. You could easily see 10 wins on the schedule, maybe 9 wins, but that's probably enough to win a bad division. And it's probably going to be a short playoff run because, again, nobody drafted any defense. Jerry! Come on!
You're right, you need Valium? There it is.
Come on!
There it is. The light's on. Uh-oh. You only get the light off certain occasions here at Sports Box. There it is. Well,
I'm not going to throw anything.
I'd say I'd like to thank Brian for stopping by. Brian's freaking here all the time, so it's not a big deal. So that's all the time we have for the Dallas Cowboys. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out. We've got some good things coming.
And make sure you're following us on Twitter at SportsBox Show. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you make sure you get all our fresh content right when it's hot off the press.
And remember, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters is right here.
And go Cowboys.
Thanks for watching. I like to throw something, but we'll save it for another time. I'll take my value. Thank you very much for watching. See you.
Don't forget to subscribe.